Okay, we are black at it again. It is another episode of MallBlack Everything. I am James Mace.
I'm Eric, of course.
Hey y'all, it's Auntie Mia.
Auntie Mia back in the building. Yurik with the Barry White. I don't know why it has to be so low every week.
It gets lower.
It doesn't. No.
I had
As the
a
weeks go
long
on.
night, so.
First of all, my microphone was not on last week. So I appreciate you guys sitting through it and living through it. And we appreciate all the shares, the likes, and the comments. Make sure you follow us on Facebook, on Instagram. Make sure you follow us on all of our social media platforms. Like and share, comment, and do all that other stuff. We really appreciate it. We are black at it again. Today is 9/11. And obviously our hearts go out to all of the people who were affected and everybody, who survived, and then the people who also perished on this day. Like, I remember where I was. Do y'all remember where you was this day?
Yeah, I think I was a senior in high school in the cafeteria when the TVs were on.
You was at school.
I was in school.
You was at school.
Yeah, it was deep. That was an experience. You used to, you watch like movies like Die Hard. You see all these things in movies, and you become accustomed to it. And then when you see it and it's actually real, it's like you almost don't even know how to react.
It was like a movie, right?
It was.
It was.
Yeah, it was different.
I remember. Mia, where were you?
I remember I was 21. I was a newlywed. I was getting ready for work. And so my husband and I were, getting into our routine, about to drop me off. He's going, and we were watching. I always watch the news in the morning.
Yeah.
And so what we saw, we were watching Good Morning America. We saw the first plane go in, and, we're 20 years old, so we're laughing like, what kind of pilot doesn't see a whole building? And so we literally were watching it as the second plane hit, and then we just kind of sat where we were. It was just like something that I just knew, okay, something really bad is happening.
Right.
And then my second reaction, because, we're a military family, is my family is getting ready to deploy.
Right.
And so I remember, because at the time I was working at a call center for a bank that's usually popping. Like, it's always 500 people in queue. It was silent the whole day.
Because people went, like, everywhere. Everything stopped, obviously, right? At least in America. Everything stopped. And it was one of those things where you just could not grasp the gravity of it all. I remember I was at home. I had graduated high school the year before, and so I was just living at my mama's house, and it's CNN, and they're talking about, the first plane had already hit.
Right.
It shows you, because I live on the West Coast, so it shows you how late I used to sleep, and I was a super slouch, like just a slouch, a slacker, because the first plane hit at like 9 something right in the morning. Yep. So I had woke up, and I'm looking at the television, and I was like, nah, this ain't real.
Right.
Yeah.
Nah, this can't be real. Like,
right.
And then the second plane hit. Oh my God! Like, we thought the world was going to end.
Yeah.
We thought the world was going to end. They had started mentioning, throughout the day we were watching it, they had mentioned other planes were being, that were missing, and then something that happened at the Pentagon, and there was another plane that crashed, 93, I believe. Like,
United 93.
It was kind of scary, but sort of surreal, because I witnessed it in California. Were you in Philly at this time?
I was in New Jersey.
You was in Jersey? Oh, so could you see it?
No, I wasn't close to New York, but I'm like on the side by Philly. But wow, it was just like you said, you waiting for the director to be like, cut, do it.
Yeah.
There was no cut, so that was just deep. My condolences to everyone who's lost a loved one. A lot of praise for the firefighters, everyone who risked their lives to save the civilians and such. So hope you all all respect.
Who are still, unfortunately, sometimes feeling the ramifications of being a hero.
And that's the thing we kind of miss, right?
Yeah.
We don't realize these things stick with people.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
These things stick with people. And growing up in California, I remember one time it was a bank robbery on Crenshaw Boulevard, and that became like national news because the people were shooting back. It was like a super movie gunfight in the streets. And that's something we would never forget. Every time you drive down that part of Crenshaw where that bank is, you just kind of envision like, dang, it went down here.
Yeah.
And you got to think of the people who lived in New York, the people who had family in that area who couldn't get in touch. Like, that traumatized a lot of people. And we cannot forget, like, even 1 October here in Vegas, every year you're going to be affected. You're going to be affected by something like that. Yeah. So our heart goes out, our minds and our prayers go out to the people who are still, affected by this tragedy, this terrorist attack, this conspiracy, whatever you want to call it, right? Because there's so many different things out of what actually happened. Yeah. But what we do know is that people passed away. It was horrible, and we will never forget. And I don't want to make it one of those things where like, oh, they always talk about never forget this and never forget that, you know what I'm saying? But let's not forget, like, no. This was something that happened. People lost lives, and our hearts here at MallBlack go out to you.
Absolutely.
Peace and love, for real.
Yeah. I would like to also say that it's a situation, the positive thing I remember about that is how everybody laid all of their differences aside.
Wow, yeah.
During that time, and we were Americans. It didn't matter, you know what I mean, what our political alignment was. It didn't matter. Even racial tension, it was like, we're Americans. Yeah. And I don't know if it was just the fear, but I remember the coming together of America during that time, and it lasted. And I wish we could get to the place in society where it's not just when something really bad happens to all of us that we can find common ground.
I was just going to say that it's ironic. Whenever there's tragedy, there's no black and white. We're Americans, and that typically lasts for about 2 to 3 weeks.
Exactly.
And then it goes back to the same. I hate you. You feel entitled. I hate this. So there's a common denominator here, which is us. So we should be united all the time, not just when shit hits the fan.
Yeah.
It's how quickly we forget. I think we're gonna need like aliens to come down,
right,
for us to really kind of forget it. And even then, we will probably find a reason to not like another person next to us. So
yeah,
God bless us. God bless y'all. I love America, even though we ain't got it all together.
Right.
But yeah, that one was a tough one.